Hi guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to cut these shag style bangs into your fixed part wigs. Hi guys, today I wanted to come on and I wanted to show you how you can put in these shag style bangs into a fixed part wig. So I know we all have wigs at home that have these middle parts in them, and maybe you don't wear them as much, or maybe you just kind of wish they had a bang on them and they don't make them in that style and you wanna add a bang. And I know adding things like that can be kind of scary. Anytime you're taking scissors to a wig can be scary. And with a fixed part, it can be a little bit more intimidating because you kind of have to manipulate the part before you're able to really get a bang like this in it. So I wanted to really show you step by step how you can cut a bang exactly like I have cut into this wig. This is the Burgundy Catherine wig, and she originally was just a middle part. I can show you guys a picture right here of what she looked like before. So I had seen Chelsea, who is one of the people that I buy wigs from, cut some a little bit thinner and a little bit longer shag style bangs into her OG Catherine wig, and I was like, I have to try this. So I went ahead and did it. I did them a little bit shorter. I went a little bit thicker, but I wanted to show you guys kind of how I did it. You can check her video out. I believe she posted one on TikTok where she uses a blow dryer to do it. I'm gonna be using a couple different tools to do mine, but you can absolutely use whatever you feel most comfortable with. That's totally fine, but we're gonna go ahead and get into this. First off, I'm gonna show you guys exactly what you're gonna need for this. So obviously you're gonna wanna have some really nice sharp scissors. So you can either use hair cutting shears, those would be ideal. I also like to use my Singer fabric shears because they are very sharp, and I like the way that they're shaped, and they make it a lot easier for me to kind of like cut straight and stuff like that. I don't know, it's just a personal preference, but you can use any type of hair cutting shears you want. Just make sure that they're nice and sharp. That's gonna make a huge difference in cutting and your precision and all of that. If you don't have sharp scissors, it's gonna be harder to cut these wigs, especially if you're cutting into a synthetic wig. The fibers can be a little bit harder to cut through. So I always recommend make sure your scissors are sharp. The other thing you're gonna wanna have is some clips so that you can kind of pull back the hair that you aren't working with and you can keep everything separate. I love these like alligator clips. Something like this is fine. Any kind of clip you have at home where you can use to pull back the hair is totally cool. So whatever you already have, you don't have to like go make a special trip just to get these, but you can get these on Amazon. They're really cheap, and I use them all the time when I'm styling and doing all sorts of stuff to my wig, so it's not a bad investment. Something else you're gonna wanna have is a comb, something like this. It can be bigger, obviously. This is just kind of like a little travel size one that I already had. Again, I was trying to do this without really having to go out and buy anything that I didn't already have in my house, and that's kind of what I wanna do for you guys as well, so that you can just kind of do this with what you already have. The other thing that I like to use, these are actually my eyelash, like eyebrow scissors. Actually, what we're gonna go in and do is kind of cut in between these hairs here to kind of break up the line so it's not this jagged, straight kind of shelf bang. And I tend to like to use a little bit of a smaller scissor to do that, so I'm not taking too much hair at a time. Whereas if I was doing it with these shears, I might tend to take a little bit more chunks of hair than I want to. So I would really recommend kind of whatever hair cutting scissors you're gonna use, and then maybe some smaller ones. If you are using like smaller hair cutting shears, you can absolutely use those to do this as well. Again, personal preference. You can kind of tweak this to fit whatever you feel comfortable with, whatever you already have, or whatever you are planning on going to get if you do have to go pick up some of these items. The other thing you're gonna wanna have is you're gonna wanna have a hairbrush. And then for my method, I like to use a straightening iron. So I'm gonna be using this, if I can get it off of here. I'm gonna be using this straightening iron, flat iron right here. You can use a blow dryer if you want instead. You can use a straightening comb if you want instead. Any of those are fine. I did try it with my straightening comb. If you guys watch my videos, you know I'm really a big advocate for using a straightening comb versus a flat iron on synthetic wigs because you have a bigger chance of kind of damaging the fiber. But when I was trying to really manipulate this part into getting rid of this kind of middle part in the front, the straightening comb just wasn't giving me enough heat. So I'm gonna be using a straightening iron. You wanna make sure you're starting this off on a lower setting. Make sure you're doing this on a heat safe wig. The wigs that I'm using that are from Chelsea in this video are all heat safe. Please, please, please make sure you check that it is a heat safe wig before you add any heat to it, because if it's not, it's gonna melt. So we're gonna go ahead and get into this, and I'm gonna show you step by step how to go ahead and cut this. So the first thing you're gonna wanna do is we're gonna want to kind of manipulate this part and turn this front hair that we're gonna section off into one solid piece in the front, which is gonna make our bang. So as you can see here, she was originally a middle part, and now she doesn't have any parting here in the bang, and that's really the goal that you wanna get when you're doing this. So we're gonna go ahead and section off the hair here first. And you can do this on your head, or you can start this out on a wig head if you want. When I go to actually cut this, I'm gonna go ahead and put her on because I really like to see where the bang is gonna fall. If you do it on a wig head, especially like the one I have, it doesn't really have like a face or anything, so it's really kind of hard to see where it's gonna fall at. But I'm gonna go ahead and start off by sectioning her on the wig head just so I can really show you guys what I'm doing, and then we'll transfer over to my head when I go to cut her. So we're gonna first go ahead and take our section. You don't need a whole lot of hair. So I'm gonna go up probably about an inch from where this part starts. And then I'm gonna go ahead and just take this section of hair here. And this is also really gonna depend on how thick you want these bangs. So you can obviously go thinner, you can go thicker. I like them a little bit on the thicker side. So I tend to pull a little bit more hair, but you can always pull less. So actually I went ahead and went like more of like a ½ inch because this is a little bit more of a dense wig. So I feel like I don't need as much hair. And you're gonna wanna pull this here, and you're gonna wanna come to right about where your eyebrow would end. So if you're wearing this on your head, this is also where it kind of helps. If you have the wig on your head, you're gonna kind of wanna bring that hair and section it off all the way to kind of where your eyebrow ends. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that hair right here, and that should be pretty good. All right, so we got that right there, and I'm gonna do it on this other side as well. I'm gonna go ahead and pin this hair back that I'm not using just so it's out of my way, and I'm not gonna have any issues with it mixing back up while I work on the other side. So this is my one section. I'm gonna go ahead and get my other section on the other side here. And you're just gonna line this up with that other side. I use my nail. You can use a rat tail comb if that's easier, or whatever you feel comfortable with. Whatever works for you is totally fine. I just have like dagger nails, so they are like my permanently attached rat tail comb on my fingers. It's weird, but it's true. All right, so now what we have here is this section of hair. A good rule of thumb is kind of coming to where that end of your eyebrow is. So wherever that's gonna fall on you is where you kind of wanna stop with the hair here. So we go ahead and we have this hair here now, and the next thing we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna go and get rid of this separation that we naturally have here to make it, you know, a straight across bang. So this is where your fine iron comes in. You can choose, if you want, totally up to you, to spray this to dampen it a little bit. That'll kind of help steam it, like steam straighten it versus just dry heat to it. So I do have a spray bottle. I'm gonna show you guys with a spray bottle. When I cut these ones, I did them dry. So you can absolutely do these dry. It's not like a requirement, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys what it's like to do it with actual like damp hair. So we're just gonna spray this a couple times. It just kind of helps with the manipulating of the part as well. And then we're just gonna go ahead and take our straightening iron, and we're gonna go ahead, and what I like to do with this to kind of give it a little bit of that volume that it doesn't really have right now is I'm gonna take my straightening iron. I'm gonna start in this middle area because this is obviously where we have to work the most on it, because this is where that part is. And I'm gonna take my straightening iron all the way to the root here, and I'm gonna kind of curl it like this and then come down. And I'm gonna do that until that part is gone. You're gonna go back into, once you cut this, to really give it a little bit more of that volume. So it's not like a huge deal if you can't get that little curve in it when you're putting it all together. And I'm just gonna go through the whole side here. This is a wavy wig, and it's a little bit easier to really see where this is gonna fall if you can get that whole area kind of straight. So I'm just gonna go through the whole hair and just really make sure it has become one solid bang, and that part doesn't start until after the bang anymore. And as you can see, like I've only run through this, you know, 2 or 3 times and it's already pretty much gone. I just want to really make sure I've got it good. All right. So that part, super easy. Like it's not like crazy hard, and that part is gone now. So we have a solid, straight bang section of hair to work with. So now this is where I recommend putting the wig on your head. So you can cut it on the wig head if you want, but like I said, you're not really gonna be able to see where it's gonna fall on your face, and because everyone's face is different, I would recommend putting it on to do this. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw her on my head, and then I'll show you how we're gonna go ahead and cut her. All right, so you just wanna make sure you have the lace where you would normally want her to be. So a good way to kind of figure out exactly where it should lay is to hold this hair up and just look and see where that lace is falling. That's where I would want my hairline to be. So she is good where she's at. Okay, so I went ahead, I threw her back on, and then I just kind of adjusted the little clips because they were falling all over the place. This is also where it gets a little weird because I feel like cousin it and I can't see anything, but that's good because that means that we got the part out, which is exactly what we want. It's all laying here flat. You'll also be able to tell when you put her on your head if you need to kind of go back in and really put those 2 pieces back together a little bit more with your straightening iron to get rid of that part. This one looks pretty good. And like I said, I do have a pretty decent long section going on here. And that really is because I'm gonna go ahead and I want this bang to go all the way across. And I'm also gonna go ahead and angle it a little bit so that it blends in with the rest of the hairline. So to do the cutting, what we're gonna do, take your finger like a scissor, hold the hair out like this, and put the hair in between your fingers like this here. And then you're gonna slide your hand down. And I recommend for these, because we are gonna go ahead and kind of give them a little bit curl up afterwards, give them a little bit more volume, I would probably want to come to right about to where the tip of my nose is. It really depends on how long you want these to be. I like them to be a little bit more long, but if you wanted them a little bit shorter, you can obviously go up a little bit more. But I would recommend starting out kind of at the tip of your nose because you can always cut more hair off, but obviously once you cut the hair off, you cannot put it back. So it's better to start out longer and kind of trim up than to start out really short and then realize you went way too short. So now we're gonna go ahead and take our scissors and we're going to cut right underneath where our hand is here. And we're just gonna cut straight across. And it's okay to kind of go in sections. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll start like that and I've got this one section cut, and then I kind of just take my hand here because it's a little bit hard to hold all that hair. But now I have a guide and I can just take a little bit of this hair that I already cut and I can work my way across and use that as a guide to see exactly where I need to go across. And also wearing it on your head is nice too because you can kind of really look at it as you're doing it. And like I said, you don't have to go across in like one fell swoop. Don't feel like you have to be like all the way through because it's really hard to do that. As long as you start out with kind of like a guide and then you work your way across the hair. And also don't freak out too, like if it's not 100% perfectly even, like all the hairs aren't perfectly even, that's fine. That's kind of where the shagging kind of comes in, where we're going to kind of break up the bluntness of it, and it's gonna kind of hide those imperfections. So now I still feel like cousin it because you can't see my eyeballs, but if you see the way I cut this, it kind of gives you like a longer and then it goes in a little bit shorter, and this is gonna really help blend this into the rest of the hair. So what I like to do is I just like to take these 2 end pieces here, and because this is a curled wig, you might see once you cut it that it kind of does this little bounce up thing. If you need to, just take your flat iron and kind of straighten it out. It'll be a little bit easier for you to really see if it's the same length. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take these 2 end pieces here and I'm going to meet them together just to make sure they're the same length. And as long as they're the same length, that means they're pretty much the same length on both sides. And then we're just gonna take this middle part right here and do the same thing. You want to get rid of any like little stray hairs that you may have missed. I've got a couple right here that I kind of missed here. All right. So then once you've done this, you're gonna either want to take a, you can take a round brush and your blow dryer, or I'm gonna go ahead and just take my straightening iron and I'm gonna go ahead and just give this a little bit of a curl. I can already tell this is way too long, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut some more of this off. But this is also why I said I like to kind of start at the nose, because then I can kind of really see where I'm at and work my way up. So I'm gonna go ahead and take probably another, I'm gonna come right up to like the bridge of my nose here. All right, so now we have this situation here. So as you can see, it's like very blunt. You can tell that like we've got some different lengths happening here. That's totally fine. I'm gonna go ahead and take her off so I can really show you guys how to do this, but you can do this on your head as well. But we're gonna go ahead and take our scissors and we're gonna kind of chop into the hair to kind of break it up. So I'm gonna go ahead and put her back on the wig head because it's gonna be a little bit easier for me to explain if it's not on my head in front of my eyeballs. So now I have her on here and I'm gonna go ahead and take my little small scissors, like I said, but like I said, if you are using hair cutting shears, you don't need necessarily have these small scissors, and you're literally gonna take your scissors and just kind of cut up and in. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just kind of, you wanna go in and kind of chop at it to kind of break up that kind of perfect shelf-like line you have going on. And then you can also kind of see if you have a little stray hair that's longer, you can get rid of it then as well. And we're just going in kind of every other here. I use the same philosophy as when I tell you guys like to go in and pluck the hairline of your wig. You don't really want to have a rhyme or reason to it. You're just kind of going in and thinning it up a little bit, chopping it up a little bit, breaking it up a little bit. And then once you're done with that, again, you can take those end pieces and kind of make sure they are the same length. And then what I like to do is kind of angle this into the hair. So as you can tell, we have like the shorter and then it goes longer. So I'm just gonna take my scissors and just make sure it's, you know, kind of angled in. That's gonna help blend it into the rest of the hair when we go to add the other hair back into the bang. So then the last thing we're gonna do is you can either take, like I said, a round brush and a blow dryer, or I'm just gonna take my straightening iron and we're just gonna add a little bit of a curl to the ends so they're not so straight. You can add a curl in with a flat iron. If you just take it and twist it as you're doing it like this, you're gonna come down and around. And that will add a little bit of that little curl in the bottom so it's not like a blunt straight. You can leave it blunt and straight if you want, like you don't have to do this part, but I tend to like the way this looks a little bit better. All right, so the last thing we're gonna wanna do is I'm gonna pull this hair back down here and here. And I'm gonna go ahead and take my scissors one more time. You can either use the small ones or you can use these hair cutting shears. And I like to kind of take the hair and I like to kind of blend it in by doing the same thing. So I'm gonna take where this bang ends and I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of very, not precise per se, but I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of angle in a little bit here, just in this front piece, just to kind of blend it together. That's it. So I'm gonna throw her on real quick so you guys can see what she looks like on with the bang. All right, so this is the end result. So like I said, I did cut these bangs a little bit shorter than I'd done the other one. You can obviously go longer, you can go shorter, totally up to you, but I just wanted to show you guys that you can absolutely add a bang into a synthetic wig, even if it's a fixed part, and this is how you would do it. If you're doing this with a side part, you could do it exactly the same way. You would just really want to get rid of that separation between the one side of the part and the other, and then the process would be exactly the same. You can angle this in more, you can do more of a shag, you can do less, you can do a straight across bang if you want. The options are endless when it comes to this, but I really just wanted to show you guys that it's super easy to do and it doesn't take a whole lot of time, and it can seem scary and intimidating, but it is absolutely doable, even if you are like me and don't have any background in cutting hair at all, you can absolutely add a bang into your wig. I hope you guys liked this video. If you are new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe and make sure you hit that notification bell so you get notifications on all the videos I do in the future. I do wig videos every Wednesday for you guys. If you liked this video and you found some value in it, I'd really appreciate a like as well. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys on the next video.